Statistically speaking, the team that wins game 3
Why don't you take the elevator? I could just fly there.
How pressing it more times does it make it go faster?
Nope, but flying would, so.
Statistically speaking,
We don't make tip-off, there is a 100% chance that Johnny is going to be too fired up.
and Ray went to stats.
See? Worked.
So keep telling the stories and keep expressing yourself and keep fighting to be who you are. And
Fantastic Four.
I don't know. Fuck the people that try to make you scared, you know,
Fantastic Four.
and fight back.
Speaking of fucking stupid pieces of shit that I hate, Pedro Pascal.
I'm your daddy.
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Welcome back, everyone. I just got back from watching the Fantastic Four. No, not the 1994 film, and not the 2005 movie either, and definitely not the 2015 Fantastical Disappointment.
Say that again?
No, we are looking at Fantastic Four First Steps. So the story opens up on Sue and Reed. She's pregnant and she tells Reed. Then we get a montage of what these characters have been doing for the past 4 years. We see them fight some classic bad guys for like a second. Then we pick up on them on the present. We then see them making dinner. Sue and Reed are late. Ben guesses that she's pregnant. We then see Reed working on something, teleportation or something like that. Reed picks up on a noise. Later we see Shalla-Bal come to Earth, warning the people that Galactus is coming for Earth. So the Fantastic Four suit up and decide to reason to Galactus. But when they get there, he wants something a little too personal. Sue's baby, Franklin Richards, one of the most powerful characters in Marvel Comics. Anyway, they just barely make it out as the Silver Surfer follows them. They end up making it back to Earth where they figure out how to make sure the Earth doesn't get eaten. So after that, they build some sky beams around the world until the Silver Surfer comes around and destroys all but one. Then Johnny, because he has the thing for the Silver Surfer, which is kind of funny, calms her down, she leaves, and is redeemed. So now that they only have one of these things left, they have a plan to trap Galactus into one of these beams and send him to another universe. So they have a little fight with him. They end up using the Silver Surfer to help defeat Galactus and send him away from Earth. The end. Until the post-credit scene, which was spoiled like a month ago, where Doom comes to steal Franklin Richards by taking off his mask and showing him his non-Robert Downey Jr. face. Anyway, I had a lot of fun with this movie. The first positive I'll give it is the style of the movie. I think it's really cool having it set in the 60s. It's very bright, kind of like the Superman movie. Also, the locations are pretty cool, especially Galactus' ship. It looks pretty cool. So does Galactus himself. He looks cool. So does the other characters. The designs of the characters are good, for the most part. Except for some things, like Ben's beard, which I just can't get over how stupid it is. Because Ben himself is pretty cool. Also, it's cool seeing Galactus looking like Galactus, instead of some big cloud, which plagued the late 2000s comic book movies. Looking at you, Green Lantern. I'm also glad that this movie didn't spend like 30 minutes on the team getting their powers, because we've already seen this story before.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
So what they did in this movie is showing how they got their powers in a little montage. And that's where we see them fighting their classic villains. Except it's like a blink and you miss it moment, really. We do see the Mole Man a lot, actually, in the movie. But he's not really that interesting. However, what is interesting is the characters. Crazy, right? But they're actually good. In fact, the cast was really great. They all work together. They have some really good chemistry with each other. They all have little moments of shine. And they have a really good dynamic going on. I don't really know why the cast was even talking about their characters besides woke virtue signaling, because they don't even act like what they describe their characters of being. And I didn't really find Sue to be the leader besides like a few scenes, but mostly no. And speaking of the leader, Mr. Reed Richards, I felt feeling like he did mostly okay. He's probably the weakest, which is something you really don't want to hear, but Pedro was the one I was the most skeptical on, because he's literally in everything. And honestly, I'm getting tired of seeing his face everywhere. But the thing is, he's actually a good actor. He's just a weird guy behind the camera. Anyway, my last positive will be the action, which I found the highlight of the movie. There's a lot of good fight scenes going on. We get several of the Silver Surfer fighting the team. And the final battle with the Fantastic Four fighting Galactus was so cool. However, with all those positives, there are also a lot of negatives. One I just could not stand, and it was played for last in the movie, is Ben's iconic line. You already know what it is.
It's clobbering time!
It's catchy, right?
It's quite dumb to me. I just don't get it. Just make him say the damn line. I thought we were leaning more into the comic book side of the movie. Now, he does say at the end of the movie, when they're fighting Galactus, it's actually in the trailers where Johnny is holding Ben, and he's asking him, "What time is it, Ben?" And then he says it. It's quite predictable, and you already know he's going to say it. Also, the female Silver Surfer isn't as bad as I thought it would be. But it's still in negatives because you and I both know why it's here. Marvel Shields will tell you that this is Shalla-Bal, Norrin Radd's wife. And they would be right. However, this is not Marvel's intent. Hell, they probably didn't even know about this character because she's so obscure in the comics. Marvel does not care about the source material. They wanted a female Silver Surfer, and they got one. And the Shields will defend this. Why not introduce one of the most iconic and well-known characters in Marvel, Norrin Radd's Silver Surfer? Oh, that's right, it's Disney Marvel with head Kevin Feige wanting more female characters than males in the MCU. Now, I said it was cool that we didn't spend like 30 minutes on the team going into space and getting their powers, but instead a montage. Now, where I find it disappointing is we heard that they would be fighting their old classic villains. And that's just not the case. We were told that they'd be fighting Giganto, Mole Man, and Red Ghost. And it just doesn't happen. Kind of disappointing. It would have been really cool, but a missed opportunity. Actually, they do. That's a mistake on my part. But in my defense, Red Ghost doesn't even show up besides a little cameo as a cartoon in the post-credit scene. And Giganto shows up for a second. Like, literally a second. Blink and you'll miss it, really. And that actually leads me into my next argument. The pacing of the movie isn't really the best. It's like a 6 out of 10. It's not bad. However, the first act feels kind of rushed. There's a lot of stuff going on to get us to the second and third act. And it's funny because the first 2 acts are fast, while the last half is like kind of slow. Also, there's a lot of talking and sitting around in the movie, which can be a little boring. Also, I forgot to say that we get a flashback of Shalla-Bal's backstory. And guess what, guys? She has no man. No Norrin Radd in sight. Like any movie, your cast is your foundation. If they're not likable or don't get along with each other, then you can forget about it. But I'm so glad to say that this movie did it perfectly. I left the theater really liking Ben, like I thought I would, but I also left really liking Johnny, which I didn't think I would. I don't think they remotely in any way ruined Johnny. He's still the same character as he was in the comics. And his and Ben's bromance was great. They're a lot of fun together, and they really work as a team. I'd give the movie like a 7.5 or maybe an 8. A little high, I know, but I definitely was surprised by what I saw. And I'm not a paid Marvel shill, so I have some integrity. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you end up enjoying the movie. If you haven't seen it yet, go out and see it. Like if you enjoyed what you just saw, but until next time, peace.
Just do it! Make your dreams